Alex Jones on the GCN Radio Network. And now, live from Austin, Texas, Alex Jones.
Welcome, my friends. Welcome. It is Wednesday, the 4th day of May 2011. We have another incredibly jam-packed, important broadcast for you. Obviously, we have Dr. Steve Pieczenik joining us for a full hour again today to continue to break down the huge bombshells that he was dropping on us. He is the co-author and advisor to most of the best-selling Tom Clancy books, the producer at IMDb of films like Net Force and many other big, huge Hollywood productions. He worked under 5 presidents, under 3 Secretary of States. He overthrew governments. He helped basically disappear, reportedly, any chance of the Italian prime minister being released by the communist. I've been doing more research on him. I mean, he's more than what he was even saying here on the air. And a very interesting individual, obviously, who told us 9 years ago that Bin Laden was on ice, had died of renal failure. I looked up people who have the type of renal failure and the disease that Bin Laden has online, and generally, after you have it, you don't live more than 5 years. Well, he had this back in the mid-1990s, reportedly. We're to believe now, all these years later, 15, 16 years later, he survived renal failure, complete renal failure. And of course, Dr. Pieczenik is a board examiner psychiatrist, which is a medical doctor, and he has another medical degree as well. He, of course, was the director under several presidents of the development of psychological warfare operations. And it's going to be very informative to have him back on today to analyze. I mean, he said, look at this staged event. Look at the stink of it. And then he went over how it was staged. And anybody who studies this can look at the rollout, the packaging, the scripting, the disinfo, and you know it's fake. It's like when you're watching a sitcom. You know it's acting. You know it's not real. So just at a gut level, you know it's a fraud. But then you have the whole history of lies and dissembling and deception and spinning. And you have all the political payoffs that are supposedly coming out of this. The selling of torture, wars, secret arrest, the 9/11 fable that is the catalyzing event that was designed to shift our society into a high-tech police state. So we're going to be breaking that down as well. Lord Monckton, who's standing for a member of the Parliament in Scotland, will be joining us for about 30 minutes today. We'll also go into overdrive, into the 4th hour with Doctor of History Webster Tarpley, who is concurring with our analysis that this is meant to basically bolster Obama's approval ratings, sell the police state, but also start menacing Pakistan. The Pakistanis are putting out today what Paul Watson put out yesterday, and what Kurt put out yesterday, that forget Pakistan, the U.S. government knew basically everything going on inside of Pakistan. In fact, that's from yesterday's news. Will you guys do me a favor, go into the featured news archive and get Kurt's article from yesterday morning about forget Pakistan, U.S. government knew, and then Watson's article about if the Pakistanis knew Bin Laden was there, then our government would know. Well, obviously they did, and now it's in Fox News and a bunch of other papers. Pakistan warned about Compound in 2009. If you believe that, this is all just them debating the false story, the little elements of it to make it look like it's real. Like, oh, there's some things that are wrong, but overall he was just killed last Sunday. We're going to break it all down today. Stay with us.
A very wealthy U.S. citizen is predicting that in 2011, we will witness the most important day in America in more than 50 years. He says it will change everything about our lives. The way you shop, travel, invest, educate your children, and even how you take care of your health and your own family. Now, this man has made some outrageous predictions over the years. The crazy part is, he's usually right. You see, he predicted the collapse of GM, Fannie Mae, Freddie Mac, and America's biggest mall owner, General Growth Properties. In fact, Barron's called his work a dire prophecy. Recently, he created a video, which you can watch online for free, detailing his biggest and most important prediction yet. And it's a real eye-opener. I can't stress this enough. You should at least watch this free video online today. He explains everything you need to know, including simple steps you can take to protect yourself. You can find the video at www.endofamerica3.com. That's endofamerica, the number 3.com. Watch the free video at www.endofamerica3.com. That's endofamerica3.com. Hi, folks. This is Alex Jones, and I want to tell you about the Silver Lungs Generator. Now you can produce pure and endless colloidal silver and deliver the solution directly into the bloodstream by breathing the solution through the lungs. The respiratory system is the first line of defense for airborne pathogens and viruses. The Silver Lungs Generator infuses the respiratory system with your self-produced nano-silver solutions and also delivers the silver nanoparticles instantly into the bloodstream. With continued legislation threatening the sale of nano-silver products, you can now produce pure and endless colloidal silver with the Silver Lungs Generator. Very easy to follow, step-by-step instructions are provided, making production fast and simple. Go to www.silverlungs.com today and learn more about the breakthrough technology of the Silver Lungs Generator. That's www.silverlungs.com. Hundreds of nations have fallen to tyranny in the last century alone. This is our last chance to not relive history.
As we're finishing off this agenda, they'll be pulling the rug from underneath Americans at home.
They have tremendous influence on our president and Congress, and they really are calling the shots.
I think it's incumbent upon all of us as American citizens to pay attention.
Fall of the Republic identifies the enemies of our nation, the criminal offshore cartel, hell-bent on destroying sovereignty, and on its ashes constructing world government.
Tim Geithner, Bernanke, they're arsonists. They're asking for more matches. And the Congress is saying, who do we make the check out to?
Today, it seems like nobody does care. And right now in Washington, D.C., we have seen a fall of the Republic.
Get your copy of Fall of the Republic on DVD at Infowars.com or watch it online right now in super high quality at prisonplanet.tv.
From his Central Texas Command Center, deep behind enemy lines, the information war continues. It's Alex Jones and the GCN Radio Network.
Yesterday was probably one of the most important broadcasts in 16-plus years on air I have ever done. And today, it looks like maybe even more important. We are seeing a battle for the hearts and minds of the people of the world. We are witnessing a complete turnaround, a complete blow-up in the face of the globalist PSYOP disinformation operatives. As I monitored radio and TV, especially talk radio, as I monitored foreign news last night and this morning, I got up at 5 a.m., almost 70% or so of the callers, in fact, it may have been more, I was going through all the different channels, are calling in, liberal, conservative, doesn't matter, saying they don't believe this story. They want to see the body. They don't believe photos, but they think it's even more suspicious they won't release photos. And the White House is having to come out. Boehner, the Speaker of the House, is having to come out and say that he doesn't need to see a photo, and he believes the president. And they're trying to fall back on the Navy SEALs and saying, why, they even had a German Shepherd with them. Spot the German Shepherd. And you don't like German Shepherds if you don't believe us. And you hate the military. Well, let's, and I was on Inside Edition this morning. They did a satellite taping for 15 minutes. Probably try to edit it down to 1 minute of discrediting information. They were very frustrated because they couldn't get me to trip up with their sophomoric questions. And they were saying, oh, you don't believe the story. You don't like our Navy SEALs. It was just so sophomoric. Well, they're saying it's the Red Cell, or SEAL Team 6, that's kept secret from the rest of the SEAL teams, and itself is a sheep-dipping arm to create groups outside of SEALs, outside of Delta Force, that are basically quasi-governmental CIA black op teams. It goes way above SEAL Team 6, way above Delta Force. Delta Force itself is another sheep-dipping operation from SEALs, Marine Force Recon, Army, Green Berets, and this is all on record. It's just the details are classified. And so most of the people in SEAL Team 6 are, of course, I'm sure being fed that, oh, someone in another unit in a subgroup of 6 did this. And they're telling, the SEALs aren't going to talk. And no one can ever know who the SEALs are because folks will try to target them. On and on and on. So we're going to talk to one of the most senior directors of black operations, someone who developed many of the modern techniques of psychological warfare, assassination raids, government overthrows, Dr. Steve Pieczenik. You'll notice when he's on with us, streaming at prisonplanet.tv, not just on the radio, you won't be seeing his photograph because obviously no one has his photograph. That's why up at Infowars.com in the guest description, we have Jack Ryan, Harrison Ford from Patriot Games. Because Mr. Pieczenik is the co-author of many of the books with Tom Clancy on record. And Clancy's on record that Pieczenik is the character Jack Ryan and others that are composites in the films. And so he's Jack Ryan. I mean, how surreal is this? The real-life Jack Ryan. I mean, the guy that makes the CIA operative Bear look like a schoolboy with all the things he's been in. They make movies about, Bear, Syriana, is on the air telling us that Cheney, Bush, and the rest of them carried out 9/11 on record. He was on record 9 years ago and a month telling us he was on ice to be rolled out later. And now it's coming out in the news that the entire official story is filled with lies because they can't get their story straight. And that itself is a classic psyop where if they know there's big doubt, they start admitting problems with the official story because people subconsciously then tend to accept the larger narrative and then debate the inconsistencies that are put out on purpose. And I believe that's what's happening. But regardless, it is a huge, impossible lie. And we're going to talk to Dr. Pieczenik. Of course, he's a psychiatrist who you think runs psychological warfare. I mean, he wrote many of the modern books on it. And I'd done research on him 9 years ago when he first came on. I did more research. Did about an hour last night. And, I mean, it was just chock full of stuff like this. London Telegraph, U.S. envoy admits role in Aldo Moro killing. That was the Italian prime minister. And at the end of the article, they go, well, the Italian government's now admitted it's true. Steve Pieczenik. The role in killing the Italian prime minister. I mean, it just goes on and on and on. How high-powered this guy is behind the scenes under these secretaries of state, at a level above your normal black ops. And, 9 years ago I said, why are you doing this? Yesterday I said, why are you doing it? And I said, let me guess. Because you understand America's going down the tubes, collapsing, being robbed blind, and that it's all being done on the foundation of the fraud of 9/11. He said, absolutely. Because everything, when I was on Inside Edition this morning, and I knew the questions before I got them, because it's all just a formulaic system to target the public. No one believes what you're saying. You're a kook. You're alone. You're a minority. Thinking that weak-minded people listening to that will think, well, I want to be with the majority and with what's safe and what is accepted, that the world is flat, the moon is made of cheese, the Easter Bunny and Santa Claus are real. Then they went on and said, you are insulting the Navy SEALs. Because they create that obsession with the military, that psychological fetish to worship the military, but then you're actually not even supporting the military. You support whatever the globalists say is the policy, and then they wrap the military and the flag around it. So it's like a donkey following a carrot tied at the front of its, head. And so they hit me with that, and then they said, oh, you think everything's a conspiracy, 9/11, and now this. Well, this is part of the 9/11 narrative. This is part of the overall hoax. I mean, it's not just Madeleine Albright.